Right, when you're doing formula rearrangement, or it says rearrange the formula, there is a big secret, and the big secret is factorising. Factorising, as you ought to know, is where you find something in common in two parts of an expression and bring it outside the brackets. Here you've got x in both places, so if you were to factorise that, just a quick reminder, it will become x outside the brackets and 3 plus b in the brackets. Reminder that when you expand this, you do x times 3, 3x, x times b plus bx. You get back the original statement. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to rearrange some formulae, all of which will need to use factorising at some point, because you'll be trying to make x the subject of the formula, but you'll have it in two places. When you factorise, you can see that x becomes just singular, there's an x in one place. Start with a nice easy one. Here you've got to make b the subject. Can't make b the subject until we factorise, because if I add fb on that side or something like that, I'll still end up in a muddle. So I'm going to take b out as a factor. I'm not going to talk too much about how I'm doing that, because if you need to know more about factorising, watch the Factorising vodcasts. So I've taken b out as a factor here. Now I can easily get b on its own, because b is multiplied by all of this. Therefore I can divide both sides by 3 take away f. If I divide this side by 3 take away f, I get b, and this side I get s over 3 take away f. And as in previous examples, you don't need brackets around that, because this divide sign implies that you have to do this on the bottom first. Right, in this example we need to make t the subject. I can't take t out as a factor straight away, because 4t and bt are on different sides of the equals sign. So the first thing I'm going to do is take away 4t from both sides. If I take 4t away from here, I end up with that, and on this side take 4t away, that disappears, I end up with y. Now I can take t out as a factor, like that, and very simply I can divide by b take away 4, so I get t equals y over b take away 4, and that's my answer. Now we come on to the ones that tend to stump people. This is not a difficult example, but it looks difficult. We've got to make a the subject of the formula. Now we've got an a here and we've got an a here. Now the way I think about it, when I look at this, is that the a is trapped inside the bracket, so I can't actually move the a anywhere. I can't eliminate that until I get it outside these brackets, which means I'm going to need to expand these brackets first. So I'm going to do 3 times a is 3a, 3 times s is 3s, and that's take away, and then the rest of it stays the same. Now from this point onwards it should be relatively straightforward. I need to get the a's together on one side so I can take a out as a factor. So I'm going to add ta to both sides. So this is 3a plus ta, take away 3s equals e, and then I've got a here next to each other, but I've also got this bit of rubbish here that I don't want, so I'm going to add 3s to both sides. So that stays on that side, this is eliminated, and I've got e plus 3s. At this point I'm going to factorise, take a out of the brackets, like that. And finally, to get a on its own, I'm going to divide all of this by 3 plus t. And although I've said it before, I'll remind you, you don't need the brackets on the bottom, but if you do put them in, it's not wrong. This is another stage more complicated than the last example. Here, we've got a situation where h is on the bottom and h is on the top, which is annoying. Some people, the evil, bad people, want to cancel that out. You must never, ever, ever do that. In this situation, the worst thing is that I've got h plus 4 on the bottom, so I'm going to get rid of that by multiplying both sides by h plus 4, which will be that. Bearing in mind that this must be in brackets because I'm multiplying both those things by g. Now I've got h on its own there, that's nice, but h here is stuck in the brackets. So I will expand the brackets, and I end up with that. Now I've got to make h the subject. So I've got to gather the h's together. At the moment one's on this side and one's on this side, so I'm going to take away h from both sides. I get gh, take away h, plus 4g equals j. and now I've got my h's together, but I've got this 4g I don't want, so I'm going to take away 4g from both sides, like that. And now I'm ready to do the big secret, which is to factorise. Now be careful when you do this. A lot of people make a mistake here, because what I'm doing is I'm taking h out. So I'm dividing this by h and this by h, so h becomes outside, but remember you've got to have 1 on the end, so when I expand this, h times g is gh, h times -1 is -h, and that equals j take away 4g. And my final move to make h the subject is to take that and divide it by g take away 1. This final example is one that looks a lot worse than it is. Because this is so long, some people just abandon it and don't even bother trying. Actually, because you're making d the subject of the formula, all you've got to do is get the d's together. So I've got a d here and a d here. To get this one to go over the other side of the equal sign, I'm going to add 2d to both sides. So I get yd plus 2d equals, and then all the rest of this, 5q plus 4xy plus 9l. Now, at this point I've got 2 d's where I actually want 1. I've got d in 2 places, so I'm going to factorise that and take d outside. Like that, I get d outside the brackets, and then that equals all this rubbish on the right hand side. And then I only have one more move, and that is to divide by this, so my answer will be d equals 5q plus 4xy plus 9l all over, I've half crossed it out, y plus 2. And that's the answer.